I would have been doing whatever the fuck I'd be doing now with that still weighing on me like a fucking ton of bricks. The fact that I didn't pursue that. Whereas I did pursue it, and now I'm out on the other end of it. And some people, like we say, the rare few, managed to actually pull off successful music careers. I don't think I was one of them, but that's okay, because I had my fill, and I learned enough from it that I'm heading in different directions and exploring new territory.
100%, man. You're gonna regret the things like, you know, you didn't do more than what you did do.
For sure.
You know, I forgot who is way wiser man than me that quoted that. I don't know if you can find that. I think it might have been Tom Waits, but who knows?
It was Bingo McDing Dong, I think.
Who knows? Maybe it was. I beats the hell out of me. But no, I think it's you gotta just like dive in head first, and I think music, and if you're passionate about any kind of art form, and it could be anything, I think you have to do that thing where it's like you vest 100% into this, or else it's always going to be like the what if is always going to be there. And I think that's how you knew it was like, even if it's no longer a part of like you as a person now, it's like it was such an integral part for your soul at that point in your being. It's like if you didn't exercise it to 100% your full capacity, it's like it's always going to come back to bite you in the ass in some kind of psychological way.
It's like you're committing some ultimate atrocity against yourself.
You are.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It was Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
He said that 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails.
Fuck yeah.
I had a martial arts sifu who said that all the time, and he never gave me a guy. So thank you very much.
Nice.
And finally, he always said that. It's just like, just do it now, man. It's just like, do it now. You'll regret what you didn't do more than what you did do. And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah. And honestly, though, even doing something like that, like, helped me a lot. And just getting active as much as you can. And it's like, dude, I didn't compete or do anything really that special with like any of my martial arts. Mm-hmm. Like, I was in jiu-jitsu back in the day. I was in judo. I was in karates and like different types of tai chi and martial arts. And it was like, but I will tell you one thing though. It's kind of an interesting thing to kind of shifting gears completely almost. But like, I guess it's still in the same vein. But it's like having that thing to temper yourself with, like some kind of system of, whether it's a system of thought or a system of physical development. Like, you know, having this kind of scaffolding to kind of build this structure that is going to be you out of is like imperative. And I feel like that's what I did in martial arts anyways. It affected me more than I could ever have imagined. Like, not only is it just like the things that it's given me on a physical side where like I can actually perform the way I do in metal bands and stuff, but it's also just like, how do you attack problems? And another thing that's really interesting about a lot of traditional East Asian martial arts is like it gives you a set of things which are completely secular. It gives you a philosophical basis to kind of live your life by. Mm-hmm. And it's like, because, you know, it doesn't matter how deep you get into in like painting or art and music, but it's like those won't tell you how to live and how to die and how to conduct yourself as an individual. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that has been like a huge thing for me personally, and I feel like you need as many of those things when you're coming up, because you don't know who you are yet, and those things will help you temper who you are. Yeah,
man. And there's like a proclivity being a young person, especially being, you know, hitting puberty, and just, I can only speak for being a man, just the testosterone starts just coursing through your veins, and you have a boner that never goes away. Ever. It never goes away.
Oh, jeez.
You're walking around just for no reason at all. Just ready for action, ready at the...
It was that alien from like American Dad who was just like, oh, you're gonna get a boner, Steve. It's like, what makes you think that? It's because I said the word boner.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I can't wear gym shorts anymore in class. I can't, you know. I need like something that I can tuck it up into. You get good at the slick tuck too, you know. Just get her in there and tuck it fast before anyone sees.
Oh my goodness, yeah, totally. It's just one of those learning experiences.
Yeah, you learn to tuck.
But I guess what I wanted actually to tie in the whole martial arts little thing into was the whole music thing, because I do think that like music is one of those things where it's like doesn't matter if you eat shit at it and you totally fail and bomb, or if you do make something out of it, if you give it your all. Music in itself, the way that you do music, whether it's live or if you're studying it as like a student of theory, let's say, there's a structure and there's a way of doing it that will help you like temper yourself. I find that really interesting, and I feel like it's what's missing a lot now. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of just that other side.
A lack
where it's
of
like,
discipline, right? Like, is that what you're talking about? People lack discipline.
I don't even think it's lack of discipline. I think there's a lot of people that like just don't have like, because it's like we're moving into like kind of like this weird secular stage of like, you know, of society.
Yeah.
Like the church is pretty much like almost dead and gone, and it's like there's not really a thing out there that tells you how to live and how to die and how to conduct yourself properly. And I feel like art is great because it gives you kind of these things in which you can kind of discover yourself, but it's still missing certain components that you'd find in like a religion. And I'm not saying religion's great or anything. I'm not the most religious person myself. Slightly am probably, but I feel like that's kind of what's missing. And when that's not there, I think that's why you see a lot of people that like, I don't know, complain a lot. They're really fearful.
They're lost.
It's
like
lost. Everyone's in like this state of myopia almost a lot of times.
Nihilism is rampant. You know?
And I feel like that's kind of like what's like a shackling society at this point. It's like it's just like it's overtaken by like a state of like helplessness. I think everybody wants to try and change the world, but like they don't really know how. And it's like they barely have their own house in order, and it's just like, fuck.
We were talking about this. Rob and I had a delicious burger at Relish Burgers. Is that what they're called? Relish Gourmet Burgers?
I think so.
Anyways, give me free shit.
Yeah.
Just kidding, I'll pay. But we were having a conversation about like just the crisis of the world now. Like what might it be? It's like, it's my sense personally, and it's debatable, and fucking, you know, all the more happy to debate about anything, but it's my sense is that it's not actually climate change, although climate change is an issue. It's not actually like social injustice, although it's an issue. It's not like any of these big broad problems that people love identifying. I think it's a lack of individual, like, strong-willed, integral character. You know, like I think the individual human beings need to focus on like strengthening themselves as individuals and build their character and develop yourself and go through these kinds of processes we've been talking about. And I think once the human beings actually become full-fledged, mature, individual, adult human beings, then the other problems, we'll figure them out. Figure them out. But like, until we aren't so lost and so, you know, just disabled by meaninglessness and aimlessness and all these sorts of things, I think like we're not going to be able to do anything effective or right, or if anything, we could run the risk of just running the whole thing into the ground, trying to change it too hard in the wrong ways, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's just like, it's a deadly cocktail where it's kind of going, because like we do live in like a capitalistic society at the end of the day. And quite frankly, I fucking love capitalism, and like,
I love it too.
I fucking love it, and like I'm not. It's not just because I'm in the finance sector that I say this. I mean, like, I come from a background of immigrants who came from real communism, like not enough to eat, going through famine periods, like probably stunted their growth. Like the horror stories that I would hear from them. Like my mom, would never tell people this, and like I guess this is the first time I'm going to get this out, but like, you know, like there's a strait from Hong Kong to the mainland of China, and can you guess how people that were trying to leave a communist regime, what they would do to get to Hong Kong when it was still a British colony? They would steal basketballs because they couldn't fucking afford them, and they would swim across that fucking channel on a basketball.
Jesus.
My mom did that 3 times.
Holy shit.
She got caught 2 times and got deported back and sent back to China.
She swam across. What's the street called? Do you know?
I don't know what it's called, but like you can see it. There's like the mainland where like Kowloon is.
It's kind of like, is it similar to how like Manhattan is away from New York's mainland? Or is it
yeah. And like there's just like this massive strait. Like even today, there's just starting to build a bridge that will bridge it. But like,
she swam across that 3 times
it's
on
still,
a fucking basketball.
It's still a ferry
across
now.
the Pacific Ocean.
Like across this channel, and like it's shark infested waters back in the day before it got like before all the wildlife got decimated. And it was like, man, it's like y'all don't know the horrors of the flip side in North America. Like, that's all I'm going to say. It's like people that actually grew up in these like horrible regimes.
What are we looking at here?
Oh, not the Taiwan Strait. No, that's so she swam to Hong Kong.
Okay.
That's in southern
Maybe search just mainland China, Hong Kong Strait or something. Cross Strait Charter, mainland China. That shit's crazy though, man. Holy fuck. It's like man, that's another thing about the issue with people who overly critique capitalism. Not that capitalism doesn't warrant critique, but it's like people want to straight up destroy it, and it's like, what exactly are you comparing capitalism to? Nothing that exists, certainly, because like if you look at what actually is existing and has existed, this is the best we've gotten going. So, and it boggles the mind that it's actually going like this smooth.
I know,
despite its hiccups, right? It's
I know.
There's no other place that people flock to because you can come here and you can start a business, you can pursue like the American dream in its like deepest sense to me, like beyond just the superficial white picket fence 2.5 kid thing. It's like the American dream to me was like you get to come here and pursue your own individual life ambitions, and you can.
You know what? No, and like that's the thing that like fucking floors me about this. It's like, you know, and I think I speak on behalf of a lot of immigrant families when it's just like, look, we didn't, like, our ancestors and our mothers and parents didn't travel from foreign shores to come here to be told to pretty much we're going to revert back to communism from some, like, I don't know, liberal arts kid. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like, fuck off, man. Like, you have no idea what the flip side looks like. And, like, did you find it?
Yeah, it looks like this, eh? Across here. I'm trying to
go up, yeah.
Oh, my. Someday I'm going to have cameras on the podcast, and it's going to be sick. So, where was she swimming from? Do you know?
You gotta come out.
Okay.
Come out. So, I'm not even too familiar, but you gotta go out even further.
All right.
So, think about this for a second.
Oh, Jesus.
Get up.
Oh, my God. Okay, using the buttons. All right. Is that fair enough?
So, yeah, my mom was, what was it? She's actually not even from here. She's from, like, way up in this province. She's from this city.
Okay.
So, she pretty much... that's Guangzhou. I'm a Cantonese speaker, so don't mind my weird accent, I guess.
Hey,
anybody who's Chinese who
shit.
listens. So, yeah, so she went down.
She swam this?
No, she didn't do that. She would have walked.
She walked down to where?
And then she would have went to Shenzhen.
Shenzhen.
Samzan. And then she found her way there, and she swam across to this island.
Wow. That is fucking... God, Jesus, cool.
And apparently a lot of people did that.
That is fucking crazy, man.
So from somewhere here, she would have...
Somewhere here to fucking...
Somewhere, like, down here.
Yeah.
And she would have just made that plop in the ball.
So this little thing is 5K. So, like, that looks like 5K at its widest to maybe a K and a half, 2K of a swim. Like, swimming 5 kilometers in the ocean, maybe, on a basketball in shark-infested waters to get away from communism.
Well, like, as, like, a young woman, too, that's like, probably under 18 or close to it.
Holy shit, man.
Like...
So do you think there's any merit to, like, just, you know, kind of like the Tower of Babel story where it's like it got so big it had to fail? There's like this idea in early capitalism that was like so big it couldn't fail, but the reality might be like so big there's nothing to do for it but fail. And maybe part of it is because like we've actually created such a robust culture that people are actually so protected from things like, you know, wild animals or death and chaos and danger and like running from tyranny and things like that, to the point that the new up and coming generation is just like so not calloused enough by life that they're just even more susceptible to a simplistic ideology like radical leftism to answer these.
Yeah, I think it's a big combination. And it's kind of, I guess we kind of touched on it earlier. I don't know if it was in here in the conversation or if it was out in the living room when we first got here. But no, I think it's just a problem here now. It's like, you know, like part of that myopia, and people don't have the perspective, and people don't have a way of like tempering themselves a lot of the time, or they don't have the experiences to like try and temper themselves.